Now, Claude?
Many have been said about climate change, but how can big businesses and ordinary consumers exactly do their part in addressing the issue? I recently sat down with the executives of one of the leading providers of air conditioning solutions and refrigerators about their advocacy. Watch this. Climate change has been spoken about many times, but I'm not sure, I don't even know if people really understand the gravity of having to address climate change as early as now. What would you think about that? How important is climate change?
It is probably one of the most pressing issues today we have. Late this year, about December, we had the gathering of all the leaders of the world into Paris. And basically the results were saying, hey, if we don't act within the next few years, the global warming trends that you're seeing, the climate change, may become irreversible. When we asked and we did the research, do you believe 45% of the people don't even believe that global warming exists?
It's happening.
It's an issue. How, as an individual and as a corporation, use what we've learned in businesses and put it on a larger setting?
Right.
And this is what we're trying to do. The winds were heavy. So very clearly what we said is, how do you make green sustainable? So if you look at the advocacy, what we're trying to do is three simple steps. It's responsible consumption, basically, and that is really an education campaign of what we're doing. The other one is about how do we produce products with a reduced footprints, and the third one is very simple about how do we dispose and how do we recycle.
How do we motivate them to actually want to be a part of addressing climate change? Maybe you could answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can start off really from doing very simple things in your own home, in your own life. And it's about personal choices that you start to make as an individual. So it can be as simple as turning off the lights when you're not in the room. It can be even turning around and relating back to air conditioning, increasing the temperature by 1 degree.
In our point, what do? Very simple, we label our products, right? We tell you this is more energy efficient than this product. Make it simple for you to act green here. For example, you have a 10-year air conditioning, right? If you change that 10-year air conditioning to a new one today, you will save 50% energy. So if you're using 1,500 pesos in electricity, you'll be saving 750 pesos a month.
Wow.
Makes sense, right?
Yes.
But not only that, now, if everyone in the Philippines, all that have 10-year-olders, do it, we'll be saving, it's equivalent to about 38,000 cars for 1 year off the road.
Wow.
So I think when we say that 38,000 cars, it's easier for the consumers to understand than saying, well, we save you 30 points of carbon. It doesn't matter. So you try to put it in a language that the consumer understands.
Like when they enter a store and they want to buy the latest refrigerator or the latest air conditioner, what should they ask for to make sure it's good for the climate?
Well, I think there's a few things that they ask for. Obviously, the energy consumption is one thing. Now, one of the things that we've decided as a company is to work together with Meralco. And the way that essentially this starts working now is a lot of the products in the stores will be labeled with how much electricity it actually consumes in a day. And there's an actual price tag that will have it that's orange colored that will essentially state the exact amount of consumption on a peso value. So all of a sudden this becomes a very real number that when you take this thing home, that you know how much it's going to cost you to run it.
Right.
And obviously the lower the number, the better it is going to be for the consumers at home.
Again, those are Mr. Raul Joseph Jojo Concepcion and Mr. Harold Pernicar Jr. talking about the Green Footprints movement. This is New Day on CNN Philippines. Brian Adams and Bruce Springsteen are canceling shows, but